Hey mini enthusiasts, how you doing? Welcome back, I hope you're well and I hope you're having a great day. In today's video I'm going to be doing the tappets on my A-series engine. This can seem quite daunting if you've never done it before, but trust me, it's quite a straightforward job, and if you own a Mini it's something you should learn if you do your own maintenance, because you have to do it fairly regularly. But watch this video and I'll talk you through how I do the tappets on my engine. Before we get into that, I did just want to say a big thank you to I think it was a few of the subscribers actually. I broke the die on my brake pipe making tool. I was going to buy a whole new kit because they're relatively inexpensive, but someone pointed out you can just buy the dies off the internet. So I just went on the eBay and I just searched 3/16 brake pipe die. That's what I got. I think it was £4.17, so cheaper than buying a whole new kit. So thanks for the tip there. So let's get into this week's video and get the tappets on this engine. Right, so we're going to be setting the tappets on this engine now. As you can see, huge at the moment because we've just put the cylinder head back on, so they all need setting properly. We're going to use what's called rule of 9 for adjusting them, which means basically you have to add up to 9. So you need to look for the valve that is fully open, so the valve spring fully compressed, and then you adjust the adjacent valve so the number adds up to 9. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if number 8 valve is fully compressed, the valve is fully open, the spring is fully compressed, we adjust number 1. So it's 8 plus 1 equals 9. The next one we would do would be number 7. So when 7 is fully compressed, we will adjust number 2, because 2 plus 7 equals 9. Very, very important. We need to make sure we are setting the right clearances, so always check it for your engine and then specifically check it for your camshaft as well. So if you've got a performance camshaft in there, chances are the valve clearance is going to be different to what it is from the factory setting. This engine, I'm using a Minispares Evolution 001 camshaft. They recommend 16 thou exhaust tappet clearance and 14 thou inlet. The reason exhaust is usually a bigger gap is because the exhaust valve gets hotter and is more subject to expansion, so you need a bit of a bigger gap. What you tend to find is the higher lift cam, the higher performance engines and camshafts you get, the bigger and bigger valve gap you need. 16 thou will actually be a bit tappety, you will hear that, but that is the consequence of running a high lift cam. You're not going to have like 11 thou clearance on a high lift cam. So we are at TDC number 1. I can tell them at TDC because we are number 1 on the crankshaft. And if I turn my engine, if you concentrate down here, we will see those valves are rocking. So what we mean rocking, if I get it right in the middle, if I turn clockwise, you can see this valve, number 7, is just starting to go down. If I turn it anti-clockwise, we'll get to the middle, and then number 8 will start to go down. Rocking is slap bang in the middle, while both valves are sort of stationary, but they're in that rocking movement. You want it slap bang in the middle like that. And then that means if number 4 is rocking, it means number 1 is on its compression ignition stroke. Because what you can get is you can get this with the piston right at the top, but it be rocking and that's not firing. So number 1 is firing, number 4 is rocking. Now what we want to do is we want to get valve number 8 fully depressed, which is about there. So that's fully open, that valve. We will adjust number 1. So important technique when you're adjusting the valves as well. More important on roller rockers. On roller rockers, if you insert the feeler gauge in like that, the roller effect like roller in metal will help you push the feeler gauge in, and basically you won't actually be measuring the clearance because the roller will be almost pulling the feeler gauge in. So on roller rockers you measure from the side like that, go through sideways, and I tend to do that with all rockers just to get into the habit. So that's a little bit loose. This is 16th hour. We can see from the back of the engine, you can see which are exhaust valves and which are inlet valves. So we have exhaust on the outside here, exhaust on the outside here, and then we have the Siamese port in the middle. So these two middle valves are exhausts. And then we have shared inlet port for these two, and then a shared inlet port for these two. So we're a little bit loose. It is very much about feel, hence why they're called feeler gauges. But you kind of want to imagine if that was hanging like horizontally or vertically, if it's tightened up correctly, it should hold its own weight at a feeler gauge. If it falls out under its own weight, it's too loose. Final check. I'm happy with that. So let's get valve number 7 at full lift now. We rotate the engine clockwise. Just back a little bit. Right, valve number 7 is on full lift. The valve is fully open, so that means 7 plus 2 equals 9. So we're adjusting valve number 2. As you can see, that is huge. This is an inlet valve, so the clearance is different. For my camshaft, it's 14 thousandths of an inch. So smaller clearance on the inlet valve because it runs cooler. If you can, 2 sets of feeler gauges is really handy, so you're not having to swap the feeler gauges around. Sometimes you can overthink it. I've been roller rockers are harder to adjust because it's harder to get the feel because they've got those rollers on there. Very, very important that you adjust them side to side, not back to front. There we go, so we've got a nice bit of tension on there, like I say. Doesn't want to be mega tight, but as you can see, I can insert that in the side with one finger, and there's a bit of resistance there. So these two are adjusted. Now I tend to be, just because you can lose track of yourself, so what I will do now is I will just go along and adjust these two valves now. Sorry, we'll get these ones on full lift, we'll adjust these two. So we want these two rocking. And then we're going to be adjusting these two. So if you concentrate on these two, you can see now, that's it, they are rocking. So that means this cylinder is now on compression ignition cycle. So the next valve we want to do is this one, which is valve number 3. So to get it to add up to 9, we need valve number 6 on full lift. So if we watch here, this is cylinder number 3. We want this rocking so we know that cylinder number 2 is on compression, stroke and firing. So if you just watch the valves, they are just rocking. We want to be adjusting valve number 3, which is this inlet valve here. So 3 plus 6 gives you 9. So we want valve number 6 at full lift. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see you can go just past it, just before it. The camshaft is oval, so you're trying to get the cam right at the very top of its lift, which is there. And then when we do, we can now adjust this valve here. Check at the back, this is an inlet valve, so we need to be at 14 thou for our inlet. A tad too tight, that one. There we go. Next valve, we want to adjust number 4. So we need number 5 at full lift. 4 plus 5 equals 9. There we go. And this one is an exhaust valve, so it's going to be 16 thousandths of an inch. Right, so we've done those 4 valves now. I think you get the idea. We'll then just continue on to do the other 4 valves and then we are done. I wouldn't sweat it too much with getting these absolutely within 0.00001 of a millimetre, because we need to do a heat cycle, we need to retorque the head once that's done. It's probably best practice then just to go through the tappets again once it's had that initial run, initial heat cycle, and the cam have sort of bedded in a bit. We will need to do the valve clearances again fairly soon. So I'm just going to pop it onto time lapse, get the rest of these videos done. We've now on to the second half of the engine. We want to be adjusting valve number 5 now, so we need number 4 at full lift, because 4 plus 5 equals 9. Okay, so that's all 8 tappets all adjusted nicely now. Now obviously I'm doing that with the engine outside the car. It's a little bit more tricky inside the car, but just a couple of tips. Take the spark plugs out because turning the engine over will be much easier. You can usually, if it's a pre-MPI Mini, so the alternator with an external fan on it, you can usually just turn the engine on like the alternator pulley or the alternator belt, especially with the plugs out. But if you can't do that, easiest way to do it is jack up one side. So usually I would do the near side front, the left hand side as you're sitting in the car. So the driver's side wheel is still on the pavement or on the road, and then put it into second gear and then just turn the wheel that's up in the air, and that will then turn the engine over. So second or third gear will give you just enough mechanical advantage to be able to turn it over by hand. So yeah, a couple of tips there. Hope you find them useful. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please do help me grow the channel and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to drop me a comment, I read all the comments. I'll be back again next week. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. Cheers.